Hey guys, welcome to part 1 of the answers video. You sent me so many damn questions that when I was doing all the answers for them, it ended up being like 25 minutes long. So I'm going to split it into 2 videos. I'll put the second one up in a few days or so. You sent me a lot of really funny, good questions. So enough talking, enjoy. Darren J. 1982 asks, would you agree that Shenmue is one of the best games ever created in terms of unique gameplay and in general as a game? I did really like Shenmue. It was very different for its time. I don't really have a huge Dreamcast game collection. There wasn't a ton of games that came out on there that I personally wanted to own, so it's probably one of my favorite games on the Dreamcast just for that reason also. So yes, I would say Shenmue kicks ass. Elex163 asks, when do you plan on upgrading your video camera to HD? GameSeller Season 2 needs to be in HD. Keep up the good work. Well, are you offering to buy me one? That's awesome if you are, thank you. No, I film everything on my iPod Touch, so I like the fact that I can sort of sneak around. It looks like I'm just on my phone. If I was holding like an actual camera or like a little flip cam or something, it would be a lot more noticeable out at the flea market, and people would probably be more like, "What are you doing? Why are you looking at me with your camera?" Blah blah blah. So no plans of super upgrading, and there's really no seasons to us. So season 2 or 3 or 4, it's sort of just one long one season, I guess, at least as of right now. Ryan Phoenix asked a few questions. First one is, are you planning on getting a Wii U at launch or at all? Yes, I have the Black Bundle pre-ordered, so I will be picking that up right at launch, grabbing like the new Super Mario Bros. Wii U and Zombie U, maybe a few other games. The other question is, do you plan on going to any gaming conventions? I don't have any in my area. I would have to leave the state and go a few states away. So at this time, no. I mean, I'd love to eventually go to E3. You mentioned you're going to MagFest in the question. That would be a cool one also, but right now, no. John Rock 882 asks, do I prefer blowjobs or handjobs? BJs, because I can't give myself one of those. I can always give myself a handjob. Come on. Siege144, his question is, since you're a horror fan, I was wondering what are your thoughts on the Evil Dead film/game series and the remake? Very big Evil Dead fan, definitely more of the movies than the games. The games were, okay. But the remake, the little trailer so far, looks pretty damn gory. I have this thing where super high definition movies with a lot of special effects, they just aren't quite my thing, so I'm hoping they don't do too much CG, and I'm hoping it's not too crisp and clear and in 3D and that kind of crap. But I am looking forward to it. Liz Horror Fan asks, what's your favorite Halloween prop that you own, and what is one prop that you wish you had? Favorite prop I own is my Pumpkin Rot Rotten Hill prop. He's the guy that has the gas mask and his arms out in the ritual scene. Me and Rot sort of collaborated on ideas, and he built that a few years ago now as a prop that I would want. Scare Factory years ago made this zombie walker prop that was really crazy, where it was the upper torso of an old lady or an old man, and I really wanted one of those when I first saw that. Kazu Utoshima asks, how did you come up with the idea to sell games for a living, and can you even make a living selling video games? Well, I personally do not make a living selling games. I just film Joey, who sells the games. But Joey basically was just into video games and realized that there was money to be made selling, harder to find ones or some of the retro stuff. He doesn't plan on doing it forever, just, that's what he's doing now. You can make a living in the sense where if you're buying your product, just like with any company or business you're starting, if you're buying it low enough and selling it for a profit, then there you go. You're making money at it, and the more product you get, the more business you're possibly going to do. So that's how. Kylel asks, how did you end up working for the band Korn, and also are you a fan? Yes, I am a fan. I've listened to their music since I was 11 years old. I ended up working for them because I started doing local concert promotions and working for concert production companies in my area when I was young, and then as I grew up, the more bands and stuff I was around, the more contacts that I met, it just all sort of blended together, and I went with bands that I enjoyed and tried to want to work for them. So it was just promoting myself and sort of making all those little connections and stuff along the way. Jeff01101 asks, what shampoo do you use? Whatever the fuck my wife buys me. And what's the most difficult video game you've beaten? I remember Silver Surfer on the NES was really, really hard. I don't know if that was just because I was young when I was playing it, but more recently, like Demon Souls and Dark Souls were both pretty damn challenging. I don't want to seem like I'm great, amazing at games or whatever, but most games I don't play the hard mode, I play normal, so I can get through fairly simply. I might die a few times, but I'm not playing on the extreme, impossible mode. Draghan1234 asks, who are your favorite artists musically? Tool, Korn, Soulfly, Deftones, Mastodon, a bunch of other bands. What things are most fun to collect in your collection? Not sure if you're meaning out of everything I collect or video game wise. Basically, out of everything I would collect, I would say video games. If you're just meaning video game wise, then I would say shoot 'em ups, shmups, and horror games. John Galloway's questions are, how long did it take to grow my beard? Well, I shaved it off maybe 4 or 5 months ago or so, and it grew back this long, and that's about as long as it ever gets, so, it just has this invisible barrier it stops at. And what's the rarest game you ever sold? I really don't sell much of my stuff personally. I mean, Joey's the seller. I only sell stuff if I have doubles of it, or if a better version comes out of the same game. So I mean, it would be a game that was worth $40 or $50. So not really anything super rare that I've sold. X Steven Videos says, if I found a copy of the 1990 Nintendo World Championship Gold Cart for $1 at the flea market, would I tell the seller what he had, or would I just run with it? I don't, that's a hard question, because in one instance, it's obviously that person's just selling shit for the sense of selling it, they're not going to take the time to look it up what they had, so it's sort of it's not really my fault for, knowing how much that is. At the other time, it's yeah, I feel kind of bad because, something that expensive. Honestly, though, I won't lie, I probably would just buy it for $1, because if they don't want to take the time to know what they're selling, then that's their deal. That's how they want to run their booth or their business. So there you go. Cyclone Jack HH asks, what's my best touring story with a band? Real quick one. In Nebraska, in one day, we spun out in our van we were touring with our trailer, and ended up in a ditch, of a bunch of snow. It was during the winter. We're like, oh my god, that was scary. We were all alright. The van was okay. We had it towed out. Later that night, we got hit by a semi-truck carrying cattle, and it ripped half of the van off and destroyed the fucking trailer. Luckily, we weren't hurt, but that would probably be one of my most epic stories while touring. Horzo asks if I'm a fan of older role-playing games, and if so, what is my favorite? Well, the first Final Fantasy was the first role-playing game I ever really saw someone play, and I had never seen a game like that, so it drew me in, and then I kind of got sucked into that gameplay style. So that would be one of my favorites. Also, you mentioned as examples like Chrono Trigger, that would definitely be up there. Secret of Mana. There's just too many that were really, really good that I like. Brew57Eb asks, do you have a brother-in-law? If so, is he hot and available? I do have a brother-in-law, but he has a girlfriend, and she's sort of crazy and a nut job. Oh shit, I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was you, Kelsey. The Turkish Gamer 1 asked quite a few questions. I'll answer 2 of them. Do you like any prog metal bands, progressive metal? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Meshuggah, so there's one. And can you say tomato in the next video game sellers? Sure, I'll do that for you. Twim Fami says, what's your favorite system overall and why? The PS1, because, Jesus Christ, I spent so many hours playing all the RPGs that came out on that system. SNES Mapper asks, what's my favorite Zelda game of all time? That's a hard one. Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and I guess the first one, honestly. Probably, it's sort of a tie between all of those, but I don't hate any of the Zelda games, but one of those 3 is probably going to be my favorite. Anthony Plays the Games asks if I have a PS3 user ID. Yes, I do. I'm pretty sure it's just GHMDF. I believe that's the same as my Xbox 360 user info. But I don't really play any games online, barely ever, a couple times a year maybe. So I'm not like frequently giving it out to people, so I don't like remember it very often. I really don't do anything else with my systems except for just throw a fucking game in and play. So there's not much I really need to know my user ID even for. So sorry, I think it's JHMDF. Corey Marr asks, what's my favorite Silent Hill game and why, and my favorite horror film? Silent Hill 2, I know that's like everyone's favorite, but it did have my favorite creatures and some of my favorite scenes as well. And horror film, the 80s remake of The Thing, just amazing, like physical props and puppetry. Midnight Shadow 562 says, would I ever shave my head? If I was going bald, like if I had lost like this much of my hair, then yeah, I would shave my head, but I ain't doing that anytime soon because I ain't going bald. Dionysi12 asks, can I do the time warp on video? I've only seen Rocky Horror 1.5 times, so it would be sort of a guess of like it's a jump to the left and then yeah, something to the right. There you go, I did it for you. Yonkla asks a couple questions, my favorite obscure games. Couple I can think of, Einhander and Alan Wake. Favorite current bands, Korn and Tool are still currently putting out music, so that counts, right? Current as in like a new band, maybe. Fear in the Nervous System. They are a side project that the guitar player from Korn put together. They're really dark and deep like stories to their songs, so I'm digging them a lot. XMagicXX01 asks a really long question, but basically it's, would I rather have Halloween or would I rather have Halloween be replaced by a video game celebration day, basically? And that's an easy answer. I would keep Halloween because every other day of the year pretty much for me is a fucking celebration of video games if I'm either at work or at the flea market or in my game room. So I want to keep the holiday of Halloween around. Barney Haposai asks, who's hotter, Jordan or Megan, the Zelda girl? Well, since Jordan is over a decade younger than me and is underage, she's out of the running. So I guess Megan would win by default, but the real winner is my wife. That's it for part 1, guys. Don't be worried if you didn't see your question get answered. Part 2 will be coming in a couple days. I try to answer at least one question from everybody. So thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.